Last week, I went to a meeting in the council, and one of the questions raised there was that the news had just broadcast that depends in which part of the borough or areas you live. In Haringey, for instance, it depends if you live in the Tottenham area or you live in the better class area of northwest London. It's quite a big area. Haringey goes right from Tottenham right down to Hampstead Garden suburbs. And they say the life expectancy in the areas where there is more money is longer than in places where there's a poorness and there isn't such a lot of money. And I said that has nothing to do really with money. It's got to do with stress. And most of our stress in life comes from whether we have money or not. That we think that if we have money, there is less stress in life. But you can be stressed even if you have money, because you haven't got as much as the other person next door you, or for instance, you haven't got everything you want. Stress is a thing that kills. Stress is the pain which has caused people to die in the middle of their age young. Stress is one of the biggest killers in our life. It causes the body to deteriorate. In the Jewish world, I see a lot of stress as well, especially by young couples getting married at 17. And by 18 or 18 and a half, she's got a baby. And by 20, she's pushing out 2 babies. And she hasn't got a chance to get out. They're living in small flats. Some of them haven't got enough accommodation to swing a cat. And there's a lot of stress. They want to get out. They're keeping up with the Joneses, a lot of stress. And seeing what the other person has got. They don't live together. Like I explained to somebody, that marriage in the Jewish world is not explained well. Because marriage is something completely different than what we think is marriage. Marriage is, my wife went to Rabbi Joseph Dunner, and we are really completely different than each other. But she went to Rabbi Dunner and she asked Rabbi Dunner, should I marry him? Me. And Rabbi Dunner said to her, if you want to change him, don't marry him. But if you want to learn to live with him together, then marry him. And the art of marriage is, and that's what God wants from us, is a Ezer Kenegdoi. Even though she's Kenegdoi, she's different than you. She's a help. And you are against her, Kenegdoi. She is your Ezer. You are her help and she's your help. That's the idea, to getting over. And that the harmony of the husband and wife, even though they're not really in certain ways compatible, because men and women are different, they work to build a unity of caring and wanting to please each other. That's what Kenegdo is. Not trying to have what Chava's got, what Bella's got, what Surela's got, but to have a harmony and relationship with each other. You live on what you've got. If you've only got a little bit of money, you live on that money. You try and sustain yourself with the money you have and living together. But most of these women, you see them pushing around the buggies by 20 years old. All there is desire has been to certain things I don't want to go into in life, but have not thought of the outcome that they have a baby and they have to look after it, and it makes dirty and you have to clean it and you keep it and educate it to when it gets bigger. Like the first 20 years of your life for this one child, and if you have a child by 17, that means till you are 37, you're occupied with this child. They haven't learned that. They don't understand what that means. And they have a stress. They think they're going to have a baby and now everything is going to be different. She's out of mommy's house. She can do what she wants. And she still depends on money. That's what the stress is there by the Jewish people, especially by religious Orthodox people. There's a stress of life. I'm not talking about the non-Orthodox. If you want to see what the stress is by the non-Orthodox, all you've got to do is open up any page of the London Jewish News or the Jewish Chronicle and see where the non-religious have a stress in certain raising funds, becoming somebody, having a letter after a name, being a doctor, being somebody. Life is not made to have stress. Life is made, and married life especially, is made to have ease and enjoyment with one another and live together. The BBC asked me to make a program on Hasidic marriages. And I explained them that really it's not a Hasidic marriage. We get married for different purposes. We all live in the same world, and we all have the same parts. Jews, non-Jews, Catholics, Protestants, Muslims, everything has the same parts. The point is to look for the purpose of life. What's the reason of life and why God made life and people together? That's what we have to understand. When a Jewish person looks at marriage, at the moment, religious Orthodox Jewish people look at the wrong reasons for married life, not the real persons of what I look at married life with a completely different eye than some of my neighbors, even though they are the same sector of Jewishness to me. They haven't got the real spiritual upliftment of what life is about and what's the purpose of life. It's not just here to enjoy yourself and see. You never really get to enjoyment, because the more enjoyments you think you want to have, the fantasies of enjoyments, you never get to your fantasies to fulfill your fantasies. It's not possible, because the more fantasies you have, the less enjoyment you have. The more all the time you're fantasizing, and when you get to that point, you will enjoy yourself, and you never really get to that point. But that's a different discussion, and a very long discussion, and it takes a lot of explaining for people to understand. But basically what I want to explain in this program and this interview is that what is wrong in life is that I look at life with another purpose than lots of people next to me. There are people who live opposite me she comes from Golders Green, he's I think from Antwerp or somewhere else. But the main aim of life, what they think of, is not only having children, is the garden. I had a cousin who didn't care about his children. His aim was just the gnomes in the garden, lovely garden to make. That's the purpose. A garden is there for your children to be able to play, or you sometimes to relax on the outside. It's not, of course you have to make it tidy and look decent, but it's not the aim of life. The aim of life is not to having a perfect kitchen, and a Hollywood kitchen as they call it, or something upstairs and breaking through the walls. The aim of life is to live comfortably and relaxed in the place you are, and that only two partners can do together. There's so much in this to discuss that it's really hard for me to give it over in one program and condense it into the real, because with every word I'm saying I mean so many things.